From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Good morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and fourth stimulus is heating up. Fifth stimulus is heating up. Third stimulus checks that were unpaid are heating up. But also heating up are the surprises. I'm here, you're here, but guess what's not here today? $2 billion of crypto is missing. A Turkish platform now reports that $2 trillion of crypto has disappeared. Meantime, $200 billion of crypto has been wiped off the entire planet as crypto falls dramatically overnight. This is caused by the president's announcement of major taxes across the board that can impact your fifth stimulus, impact your fourth stimulus. Meantime, Bernie Sanders has big news today. And that news comes from a person who introduced the standalone bill to give you monthly stimulus checks. Well, guess what they want to do? They want to put children through college for free. And how they want to do it? They want to tax people who are low income. Yeah, everything is making really good sense this morning. Crypto is missing. Crypto is falling. There is taxes looming by the hour. I'm here, you're here, and there's a lot more taxes being announced every 2 hours in this recording. I'm going to go over what's happening with third stimulus, those monthly stimulus checks under fourth stimulus, why the president really needs to get fourth stimulus done sooner before later, because suddenly all this talk about taxes and more taxes next year is making a lot of people very skittish. I'll have all the details across the board in a sort of ironic and humorous and also surprising broadcast. And oh yes, while I'm not finished with that, Caitlyn Jenner wants to be the next governor of California. This is Mornings LALATE. You have made it to the weekend. Congratulations, you've made it to the weekend. People always ask me, do you think fourth stimulus checks, those monthly stimulus checks are going to happen? It just sounds so different. It sounds so different. Well, today it's not particularly that different. Compared to the fact that $2 billion is missing in crypto, literally stolen, apparently, in a new scandal out of Turkey. $200 billion of crypto is missing from the U.S. markets as people dumped crypto overnight. And now Bernie Sanders wants to tax low-income people to pay for other low-income people's children to go through college. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And on top of that, Caitlyn Jenner wants to be your next governor of California. It's just, we're starting on such a strong note today. How are you? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Like this video, and if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. In this recording, I'm going to get to all the details about your fourth stimulus check, your third stimulus check, and your fifth stimulus check. Let's get to the breaking details right off the bat. First, great news if you've not gotten a third stimulus check, because there was a wave 6 of the third stimulus check of $1,400 confirmed by IRS yesterday. This is incredible great news because I have a lot of viewers who are someone sent me a DM just a few minutes ago and someone sent me a tweet just 5 minutes ago saying, I have still not gotten this stimulus check and I have a March 26th mail date. So great news for you across the board. But if you really do have a March 26th mail date and you are waiting for wave 6, I would call up IRS. I really would. I would call them up. But this is incredible great news. So check the IRS tool again. Also do a transcript search for yourself because guess what? There is a wave 6 of that $1,400 third stimulus check landing. Congratulations. Also, big congratulations for fifth stimulus in September because major SSI reform will pay you an incredible lot more money lifetime for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and increase your benefits yearly, allow you to work more, and still stay on benefits if you want to work, and keep more cash on hand if you have cash, and still stay on benefits. Incredible, great details. Those are coming up late in this broadcast. But let's start with the big, bold, exciting news about fourth stimulus. Those fourth stimulus checks are happening because two major events yesterday signaled they're on path to the finish line. What were those two major events? Number one, lack of bipartisan support. Number two, the U.S. economic data that came out this week showed that the economy is not rebounding at a faster growth of recovery than the week before. Now, we know we're recovering. We know we have a strong growth rate at the moment. But the worry a week ago was that the rate was exponentially growing week after week. And that concern was that we could have full recovery of the U.S. economy this summer, not this fall. If it was this summer when they're voting for the forced stimulus checks, those monthly stimulus checks, that was a concern. That is no longer an issue. I'll have that data in just a second. Also not an issue was bipartisan support. The Republicans gave the president a really worse offer than they had given him over the previous 3 weeks, so there's not going to be any bipartisan support. So let's go first to the amounts of the stimulus checks, how soon, when you would get it, who would get it, and all that beautiful detail. First, when would you get it and what does it look like? First, the stimulus checks would be a monthly check. It would be a monthly check, so it's actually the fourth stimulus checks, plural. It would come from the House members at 18 months of checks approximately. They want to give you a check every month throughout the remainder of this pandemic, plus one more year. The senators want to give you stimulus checks between now and December. Let's look at who's at play. The House members are more progressives, junior members of Congress, and the senators are more senior members of Congress. The amounts of the stimulus checks differ. The House members want to pay you $2,000 a month, $1,000 thereafter, whereas the senators want to pay you an unknown amount. But word on the street is the senators want to pay you this. Either $2,000 a month, an individual, over 6 months, which is $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, which is $8,400. Now, here is what you need to know about that data. And let me answer all the questions I usually get about that data. First, who gets it? You do. If you got a third stimulus check, this would be you as well. If you make less than $75,000, this is you. Married couple, $150,000 or less, this is you, times 2. How big is the household? 4. So you would take that amount and times it by 4. If you're on SSI SSDI, this is you. Railroad benefits or veterans benefits, this is you. It would not be income. It's not taxable. It would not count towards your benefits cash on hand. All very clear. When would you start to get it? The vote in Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer says in July 4th approximately. When would you get the first check? July. What would the first check be for? The month of July. How many checks would you get? Every month thereafter, until when they determine it to cancel out. Senators, December, House members a little bit longer. And how would you physically get it? I think they're going to do it by debit card because that's what VP Harris and Senator Sanders proposed in 2020. A card that sends you one time and then replenishes every month with the funds. So that is fourth stimulus. The other item that signaled that fourth stimulus is happening is what happened yesterday with the Republicans. The Republicans over the last 4 weeks have been not moving, as the president has not been moving. The Republicans made a verbal counteroffer on day 1, and then day 2, and then day 3. And then the president invited them to the Oval Office. They didn't change their position. And then he asked them to make a position in writing. And over the weekend, they vocalized the same position, which as of this weekend was the same. No climate, $600 to $800 billion for infrastructure, less than the president's proposing, and certainly not $2 trillion, and no tax changes to the tax code. President said no. So on this week, they came in with the offer in writing. And the only difference is the offer in writing is worse. It's actually less money to the president. So instead of 600 to 800, it's now 500 something billion. So the president has no bipartisan support, not going to happen. He's going to try to look like he's looking for bipartisan support. It's not going to happen. Now, here's also what's really, so bipartisan support is great for you because Republicans don't give you stimulus checks. The president would not be putting in a stimulus check himself. It's the House members, the Democrats, that put those stimulus checks in there. So to that also added the unusual factor that came in yesterday and the day before, which is that the fifth stimulus will be valued at $1 trillion. Remember, the third stimulus that is now law was $2 trillion. The fourth stimulus, which the president, which we're talking about right now in this video, is $3 trillion, and the president wants to spend another $1 trillion in September. That totals $6 trillion in 9 months. The Republicans of 2021 are not much different than the Republicans of 2020. In 2020, they want to spend $200, $300, $400, $500 billion. They don't want to spend anything with a T in it. Tom and Terry and Terrence, they don't want anything with a T in it. They want to be in it. Boy and Bertha and Betty. Yeah, so they want bees in it. And now the president is clamoring with the news this week of $6 trillion he wants to spend between now and September. Well, they're now getting wind of it and saying, you know what, we're just not going to give this type of money. And this is good for you. It's good for you. It's really good for you. What's also really good for you is that the Democrats in the fifth stimulus this September want to revise SSI and SSDI. Wow. Boy, when this channel was this small and I had a few hundred subscribers 1 year ago, I did a video, it went viral, it had 3 million views, which is very rare in the financial space. And what was the subject matter? SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, because no one was recording for you. No one was talking about your needs and your concerns and your issues. And I stayed on point all along. And I certainly saw in January and February, you were asking, what's the update about SSI? And I said, I don't have any update. I don't have an update, with the exception of the wealth tax bill from Elizabeth Warren coming up later in this video. And I said, I just don't have an update. Well, this week I had the most wonderful update, and I will stay on top of the story going forward. The incredible update is 20 plus Democrats have written the president a letter saying that in the fifth stimulus, they're going to put in their SSI reform. Those Democrats, who are the same Democrats I talk about repeatedly on this channel, but including others like Pete DeFazio, who I think I spoke about a lot in December and January. He's a great guy out of the Northwest, House member, want to do incredible SSI reform. And the SSI reform is really incredible. First, let me broadly tell you what it is, and then I'll go over the specifics. It's increasing your benefits, increasing the asset limits, increasing the benchmark, removing the income cap where it is now, and removing the marriage penalty. All right, let me explain what that means. Very simple, because it is not a complex idea. First, let me explain. It's for all of you. It's for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, everyone. Okay, Social Security as well. So what's the first item? The first item is to take everyone's monthly benefits and just take them and raise them up. And that's where you will start. You will never be at the lower number. So they're going to take everyone from where you are now and bring you up to a new number. I don't know your particular number, but everyone will have a new number that's much higher, and that will be your new number going forward. Now, you'll never go below that number. Every year, as you know, in December, they look at your benefits and say, I wonder if we should raise that person's benefits a little bit. Well, they've been determining that based upon COLA, which does not move, C-O-L-A, COLA, does not move. And your benefits stay the same year to year. So they want to get rid of this under the SSI reform. They want to tie you to inflation, which is incredible because inflation always goes up. There's always some inflation in this economy, 1%, 2%, up to 4%. So you know every year your benefits are going to go up at least 2 to 4%. It's easy breezy, guaranteed. Now your benefits will never go down. They'll just keep on going up little by little every year. Well, not little, but 2 to 4%. So then that was number one. Number two, they want to remove the asset limits to allow you to keep more cash on hand and still stay on benefits. Third, this is the one that makes a lot of viewers excited. I'm very excited about as well. If you want to work, you know you can't work over a certain amount of money because you'll fall off of benefits. They want to wipe that out. They say that number is a 1962 number. It's ridiculous. We have a 1962 number determining how much money you can make. They want to get rid of the number, start with a big, bold number like $1,000 or $2,000 a month, $12,000 or $24,000 a year, and say you can work this amount of money and still stay on benefits. And then we're going to annually increase that money benefit based upon inflation. Incredible. And finally, they want to get rid of the marriage penalty. So just great news. Really, really great news. So this is fifth stimulus. Let me separate the bills because I know you're hearing a lot of items at the same time. third stimulus is the check that you may have gotten or still waiting to get, the $1,400. Fourth stimulus is those monthly stimulus checks that will go to a vote in July and start going out in July. Fourth stimulus is also called the American Job Plan or the infrastructure bill. There is no bill for it. It will not have a bill written by the president. The Speaker of the House will write the bill, and the senators will put the stimulus checks in there. So you're not going to see a physical document that says stimulus checks until the 11th hour, after a 2-month process between the House and the Senate, back and forth twice. And then in September is the fifth stimulus. The fifth stimulus is going to be called the American Family Plan, the AFP. And the president in that one wants to pay children 17 to newborn 6 years of $4,000 a year. Yes, $24,000 a person, a child, for 6 years. $24,000 over 6 years. So do not feel guilty about your $8,000, $9,000 multiple stimulus checks when the president wants to spend $24,000 over the next few days. Next few years for those young children. So that is where we start the morning. Now, here's what you need to know. And I don't do this type of recording so often, but I want you to understand the optics of where everything looks at the moment. If that was the totality of the news cycle today, we would be good. We would be good because everything sort of makes sense. Fourth stimulus makes sense. Fifth stimulus makes sense. With the children thing is a little high on the 24,000. That's high. But everything generally looks normal. I mean, just looks normal. And then we have this. So I don't know how you would describe it. It's sort of like you're starting to nibble and then you think you can bite and then you want to growl and then you want to just chew off something. It's just starting to look a little too, I don't know what you call it, politically aggressive or economically aggressive. This is what's going on. So all this seems totally rational and normal. But then yesterday, Bloomberg came out with a report that said next year, President Biden proposes to raise the capital gains tax. Now, before I even get to what that means, let me explain something very clear. And I don't particularly like to report this type of stuff. You know, and I know, one of the things I really hate about reporting is when I don't know what's going on. Remember in 2020 when Nancy wouldn't tell us what was going on and she wasn't telling us what Steve Mnuchin and her were talking about? I'm like, can we learn what you're talking about? And I said, I'm just so frustrated. What is Mnuchin and Pelosi talking about? Won't you brief us on what's going on? They wouldn't brief us. Well, it's going on a little bit now. So the president under fourth stimulus has not been clear which taxes he wants to raise. In fact, a new report out of Politico this week says, yeah, there's corporate tax, but there's a lot more taxes he wants to touch. Not clear. Now, corporate tax is not you if you don't have a corporation. But if you have a grandma who's dying and has a nice Cadillac in the driveway, or dying and has, a condo or, a house that's worth $65,000, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. He wants to tax that. He wants to tax the inheritance tax. Inheritance tax is not a rich person's tax. It's anyone's tax. Everyone has inheritance tax. He wants to raise your inheritance tax, claims the report. We don't know if that's certain because he's not come out and said which taxes are at issue in the fourth stimulus. Then there's reports that he wanted to tax a series of other items, which I'm not going to go over because they're a little too complicated. But even that, we were sort of in a universe of, okay, there's some clarity to that. But then came the Bloomberg report yesterday. And the Bloomberg report yesterday claims, with nothing on the record, no direct quote or anything, that the president in 2022, next year, when looking to finance, I guess, what's going to be the sixth stimulus and other programs next year, is looking to raise the capital gains tax. Now, this is a big concern for you because this impacts everyone. Capital gains taxes that he's looking to change is not a nominal change of 2 or 3%. He's not just looking to move something a few percent. He's looking to change it from 22% to 44%, doubling it. That's the first issue. The second one is there's a concern that he's trying to do it in a sweeping capital gains that would impact a lot of people in the middle class, not just trillionaires and billionaires, not just wealth tax. Remember, Elizabeth Warren talks about billionaires and trillionaires. She doesn't talk about people who make a couple $100,000 a year. She's not talking about that. Well, his capital gains would talk about that. So what does this mean for you? It means that you could directly take a hit on this, but more importantly, you could see a hit on this in the financial markets. And already it's hitting. Wall Street crashed at the close of yesterday. Well, fell at the close of yesterday. And today, crypto is crashing because the proposals at issue from the president is that if you make any money buying a Tesla stock and selling a Tesla stock, or buying a car and selling a car, or, buying some beautiful fitted sheets at a swap meet and then reselling in your little boutique, he's going to try to raise the capital gains tax on that, double where it is now in 2020, in 21, in 2022, to which Wall Street anticipates major sell-offs, a major stock market crash, and a major crypto crash this year, with people worried they have to get out now to take their profits before the president levies multiple big taxes on it next year. I, last night, did a very unwatched video about crypto because it was dropped at a strange time slot. And I said, you know what? I don't like how this is going. This could cause crypto to really sink in the next few weeks because people could get out and take their profits now for fear of being taxed through the roof next year. And guess what? Not only was I right, it happened less than 6 hours after that recording. Today, $200 billion of crypto is now gone because people have sold off in crypto as Bitcoin fell below 50,000 because they're worried about President Biden's massive tax capital gains raise for next year. Bitcoin was down 8% in the last 24 hours alone. Meantime, Ethereum is down nearly 11%, and XPR is down nearly 20%. I mean, this is, you're seeing me early this morning that I would normally be. This is an enormous drop. And then there's this. So, that's 2021. And maybe we can deal, that's 2022. That's next year. Maybe we can deal with stuff next year. But here's what's happening right now. Bernie Sanders, who's the champion for your multiple stimulus checks, you want him to seem rational and normal to get those multiple stimulus checks out the door. Those multiple stimulus checks that would start paying in the month of July, that would pay you the biggest payout you've ever seen on this channel, that would pay you $2,000 a month over 6 months of $12,000 or $1,400 over 6 months of $8,400. You want those out the door. You want everyone to look rational when they're doing that, right? You want everyone to just look normal and thoughtful and mindful of what they're doing when they're doing it. And then came along this guy. What did he say today? Today he introduced with Representative Jalapal, who's the other person behind the multiple stimulus checks, but on the House side, that they want to tax, I can't even say this with a straight face, they want to tax people who don't make a lot of money to pay for other people who don't make a lot of money to put their kids through college. Excuse me? Let me say that again. You're low income, you don't make a lot of money. He wants to tax you so that your taxes can be used to pay for someone else to go through college. Their children go through college. And who's that someone else? Someone who does make a lot of money. What? Yeah. So if you make $125,000 a year, Bernie Sanders, and you make $125,000 a year and you have a child, this is a single person, $125,000, single parent, $125,000, one kid. You want to put that kid through college because you make 6 figures a year. You're totally broke. He wants to tax someone who doesn't make $125,000, makes a lot less, wants to tax them when they go to sell something to pay for the person who makes $125,000 a year to put their kid through college. Yeah, can we just not hear about strange stuff like this until we get the stimulus checks out the door? I would just love to get the stimulus checks out the door, and then we can hear all this stuff that makes absolutely no sense, like in September, October. But this is front page news again. And it's a new bill that came out just a few hours ago. And every time I hear something unsettling and not logical from the same people who want you to have the multiple stimulus checks, I just sort of want to take this and say, can we just like put this in the wastebasket and just act like it never existed? Because the people behind the multiple stimulus checks are so smart. They're just not smart when they're talking about this type of stuff. So there you are. I will be back with you later this morning with more coverage about what's going on. Circle back one more time. I will have a range of ideas to cover. Air tag me so that you don't miss anything that's going on. Here is today's programming schedule. I know I'm going a little bit early for this morning's broadcast, but at noontime, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noontime returns. Hopefully by then, Bernie Sanders is not taxing you again. Then afternoons LALATE at 4 p.m. is our first show. Hopefully by then the president does not have another tax plan unveiled. And then at afternoons LALATE, that's when we can see some more taxes announced. That's at 6 p.m. followed by evenings LALATE at 8 p.m. and then LA Late Night. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. There's a lot of breaking news happening today, and to that person who fled from Turkey with the $2 billion of crypto that's now missing. I hope you brought some food with you. Say hi wherever you are because people are looking for you. Make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think tomorrow's our 1 year anniversary. Oh, 2 days from now, April 25th. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Let's try to do 2,000-3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and have a great Friday morning. See you in a little bit.